This media wall project's gone pretty well so far. Pretty smooth, almost too smooth. But today my luck ran out. My luck packed up all of its stuff and left town. While I was making the most simple part of this entire build, everything went totally sideways on me. Nobody likes it when things don't go right, but this secretly might be why I enjoy building things so much. In my opinion, woodworking is 50% education, knowing what tools to use, when to use them, and the other 50% is problem solving. Whether it's figuring out how to achieve a certain look or fixing whatever big ass mistake you just made. Think of problem solving as an exercise for your brain. The more you flex that muscle, the stronger it gets. You know what? Let's just get started milling some lumber. I'll have to deal with problems later. You'll see what I'm talking about. My plan is to mill enough for both the face frames and the front edge of the cabinet tops. Now I've always wondered if other people have the same problem I have when I'm milling lumber. Somehow I can get 2 3/4 inch boards out of 8/4 rough cut lumber. But I can only get 0 3/4 inch boards out of 4/4 lumber. This is where things went wrong. Apparently the sides of the drywall bump out I built are not perfectly at 90 degrees. They slightly pinch the gap at the front of the cabinets. So it's not like I can build the face frames in the shop and then slide them into place on the cabinets. I'm thinking that the only thing I can do is to cut the frame pieces to size, then directly assemble the frame onto the cabinet boxes one piece at a time. I gotta hide all these screws, so I'm countersinking the pilot holes pretty deep with a 5/16 inch bit. I'm starting by installing the bottom piece and working my way up. The center piece is easy. It's just a rectangle. It's the 2 side pieces that are gonna make this a little sketchy because they need to be scribed to the wall. I'm using glue and pocket hole screws to fasten the frame pieces to each other, and then use wood screws to mount the frame pieces to the cabinet carcasses. Clamps and cawls help hold everything in place while I drive the screws home. Before I started the second frame, I whipped out the old laser level to make sure both face frames are going to be in line with each other. This is where I really start to lose time on the face frames. Not only did it take longer to assemble and install, but now I gotta cut plugs to fill all the exposed screw holes. And after they dry, I gotta go back, flush cut them, and sand all 50 of them. The bit I'm using here is called a plug cutter. You can get a set of 3 different sizes for about 25 bucks at the local big box store. To get the plugs out, I'm just going to jam a flathead screwdriver into the cut and pry out the plug. I found that medicine cups are perfect for dipping plugs and dowels into glue. A plastic coated dead blow hammer helps set the plugs in place without deforming them. I've never actually had to use these pocket hole plugs before. Turns out they work fine, but getting them into place is a little wonky. Normally I really enjoy flush cutting things with a Japanese handsaw, but flush cutting 50 plus holes is a little excessive and tedious. So you probably won't catch me smiling here. Since I had to build the face frames that way, I already knew that the void left for the cabinet top is totally irregular. So I decided to make templates. No one is ever going to see the back and most of the sides. They're going to be permanently hidden by the shelves. The only part of the cabinet tops I'm actually concerned about scribing is the front inch or two. To make sure the template was true to size, I assembled the template in place.
Please come out.
Whew. I was afraid the void for the top was so irregular that I wouldn't be able to get the template out, or the top in. Back to the shop to rough cut some plywood. I want the cabinet tops to have some weight to them. So I'm going to make them 2 plywood sheets thick. I can mount the template directly to the plywood wood screws because I can hide the screw holes in the middle of the plywood sandwich. I'm not going to cut the front of the tops at this time because they need to stick out uniformly over the edge of the face frames. You'll see later. I got the back and the sides cut to size, and now I'm going to mark where to cut the front of the cabinet top. Now I can use my oversized vacuum bags to adhere the top to another sheet of plywood. Let me just go grab my vacuum bags real quick. Oh wait, I don't have a vacuum press. Whenever I'm in this spot, I just run around the shop, grab all the heaviest stuff I can find. It works fine. Just make sure to have pressure everywhere. On a glue up this big, I let it set overnight. Now that the glue has had time to dry, let's get it out of the vacuum bag. To make the two pieces the same size, I use a jigsaw to cut off most of the excess. And go back with a flush trim router bit. The moment of truth. Yay! Woohoo! To hide the front edge of the plywood top, I'm using more of the 3/4 inch poplar we milled in the beginning. I'm pretty sure my Rockler bandy clamps are too small for gluing the edge board on. So I'm going to roll with some 3-foot F clamps and pipe clamps to hold everything in place until the glue dries. I have never had any luck using the router to flush cut edge boards. The slightest wobble of the router or the wood leaves a terribly obvious divot in the piece. So I'm going to use the old Japanese handsaw again. And saw. And saw. And saw. Saw some more. Basically just saw my butt off. And still sawing. To help mount the top to the cabinets, I enlisted the help of my favorite sets of feet. Their weight helped hold the top tight to the cabinets while I drove the screws in place. Sometimes the screws can actually push one piece away from the other. And at this point, this is what the wall looks like. All right, go ahead and rotate the camera. Rotate the camera. Turns out I forgot to rotate the camera. So this is what the right side looks like, but you get the point. The left side looks like the right side is just on the other side. Making the tops wasn't too bad and went pretty well, but that is not at all how face frames should be built. That was a nightmare, but it worked. That's what I was saying earlier was, in my opinion, half of woodworking is problem solving. Even if you caused the problem days earlier, didn't even know you did it. Now you just watch me screw everything up and fix it. Get up and do it yourself.